Welcome back, everyone, to The Alignment. Today I want to talk a little bit about building trust in relationships and how we understand trust and the importance, of course, of trust. Use the same word 3 times. What sort of thoughts do you have to sort of introduce?
Yeah, I think that trust is basically the foundation of everything. And I don't mean trust in a generic sense that, oh, I trust you that you're not going to cheat. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about trust on a higher dimensional level or a higher awareness level where you have trust for yourself. First, you have trust within yourself. Like, you trust yourself enough to make the right decision, that you've even chosen the correct person for you, which is very, very important. We kind of often end up in situations where we end up blaming our partner for not having certain qualities or certain characteristics that we desire in them. But I think that's mainly because we didn't choose what we want and we settled for a version or a person that doesn't mirror our qualities. And then there's that significant issue of incompatibility. And I think incompatibility is always obvious from the get-go when you're aware, when you're paying attention. So I think trust is paired up with a lot of adjacent topics.
Yeah. No, and I feel like for me, trust is sort of being able to know that you can depend upon someone for support in a time of need, for example, and knowing that, the connection, the bond is strong enough that you're both there for one another,
Yeah.
I think a lot of relationships, not just romantic ones, but family relationships, personal friendships, they often sustain themselves on a superficial level. There isn't a real deep depth, and the depth to a relationship comes in periods of difficulty and adversity, when, let's say, one person needs help and the other person is in a position where they can help, whether it's be emotionally, financially, or this or that, any sort of, human sort of connections, they're built upon these exchanges of energy and stuff like that.
Yeah. Giving and receiving.
Giving and receiving, and there's a sort of a beauty of trust that comes from, when that bond is sort of respected and stuff. When there's a sort of the feeling that, let's say in a relationship that I am giving but I'm not receiving anything, that person is taking everything from me. Or when people enter into relationships and stuff for egocentric and narcissistic purposes, they don't really see the other person or respect the other person's needs or wishes. They just see them as something they can use, unfortunately. And I think that sort of narcissistic dynamic develops in a society where there isn't much social trust, I feel.
Yeah, I think that a lot of issues stem from the area of trust and not being able to trust people around you. But I think that trust is adjacent to being a person that believes in a better reality or is a bit more hopeful. You can call this being a bit more positive in a certain context, that to trust somebody, you have to take a chance. And taking a chance is our biggest fear these days. Apparently, people don't really like risking it or taking a chance because they've been hurt or they've been traumatized, or as many excuses as we can give. So I think it's so important to understand that there is a whole new world. It's like Aladdin from Disney. But there's a whole new world where trust can open up doors and intimacy and experience in a way that you've never ever known. Like that is something that only trust the characteristic or the ability to trust can do. And because we like to blend spirituality on the alignment, I will go ahead and say trust in the universe, trust in the unseen. Just sit with yourself and ask yourself that what does trust mean to you? Everything means differently to a person. We all have our own unique meanings and own perspectives. So figure out what trust means to you, what it looks like, how can you give trust, and how can you receive someone's trust, Because I think with infidelity, the thing is that you trust that person and then you feel betrayed. But the thing is that that person that you put your trust into didn't know what to do with your trust. They didn't know how to handle that sacred gift that you gave them, which was your trust. It's like a flower. And people who don't have trust within themselves tend to gamble trust, because that's a very foreign feeling to them, that, oh shit, this person trusts me. What do I do now? I have their trust, and what do I do now? So they tend to gamble it up. So I think it's very important to find a partner that is comfortable in handling your trust. Like, if, for example, right, I tell you, I trust you. You know that I trust you. You know that I've given you something very precious.
Yeah.
And then how do you treat that gift,
Yeah, with
it's consciousness, with reverence. Yeah.
That's what
exactly.
Yeah, because it's like, I know it's not a trivial
Do you see his energy? You'll see the energy in the video. Like, he knows that is something so special. And the same for him.
Yeah.
You trust me, and I take that very seriously.
Yeah.
Because you both know that, okay, this is something special.
Yeah, and I think it's like a good litmus test for people to determine whether they're in a relationship where there is high trust. Is like, if you really ask yourself, is this person really, truly, deeply supportive of me and my happiness, and as well, am I deeply, truly supportive of their happiness?
Yeah. And if either one of us has no in an answer, if I don't want to support you.
Like, if there's hesitation or that's a sign of perhaps incompatibility and stuff,
Yes.
And and as well, I think perhaps in many relationships, sort of feelings of envy can kind of arise, and jealousy within them when they don't have that sufficient trust. There are some partners that I've seen and read about where they will sort of put down the other person, perhaps in jokes or humor, or they
bully you.
Yeah, they bully, or they sort of, if something good happens to the other partner, then there's a bit of subtle resentment.
Yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah,
I have seen
that. So it's like this sort of a bond where they're pretending to be bonded, but they're not really. They're just sort of, I don't know. I wonder why relationships like that persist. Perhaps it's low self-esteem, a feeling of oh well, it'd be difficult to find another relationship. A lot of people stay because of that sort of inertia. Settling and stuff like that. Settling
because you yourself are not ready to handle something higher is what I feel.
And as well, sorry to cut in, but as well, sort of an avoidance of the solitude and being alone.
Yeah.
And people fear being alone so much that they will stay in
a terrible place.
Relationship, even if it just means they avoid that introspection by being in the space of another person. I remember seeing lots of people, in my more social time when I was younger, who would always surround themselves with people.
Yeah.
They would always be seen with people, almost like a kind of a politician kind of. And I would sort of think why do people need so many affiliations? Why do they need to be in the presence of so many people all the time,
I just think that relationships should be a cherry on top of a cake. The relationship should never be the whole cake. What I mean by that, for a proper understanding, is that you do not need to be dependent on a relationship for your life to feel fulfilled. A relationship is like a side effect of you being at peace with yourself. So you already have peace within yourself. So this other person comes along and you're sharing something. But in order to share something, you need to have something yourself. Or what are you going to share with the person you're with? So if I want to give him a piece of cake, right, I need a cake to give him a piece of the cake. You can't expect the relationship to be your whole caring, like your whole foundation of things. It becomes that way because you're your own person first. So I think that, in India, in the Indian culture, they're a bit restrictive about dating and things like that. Now, at this time, at an early age, and they believe in arranged marriage and things like that. If you guys are from India, you would probably know what I'm talking about. So basically what I'm trying to say is that in places like that, they kind of tell you to not date young, because they don't believe that you can find love at a young age because you're not mature enough yourself. Like, if you don't know what love is, how are you going to attract a love that is for you when you don't know what that looks like? Like, how can you find something you don't know you're looking for or you can't see clearly? So I think that a part of it, I want to believe is true, that, maybe sometimes we date young because we're young and it's like a trend to date in school and high school or whatever. I mean, I did that. But yeah, so I just think that if I was a bit more conscious and wise, then I would not have chosen to date if it wasn't such a big thing, just supposed to have a boyfriend in class because everybody has one and it's like a bag of chips, I want one too. It's crazy. But it's teenage years.
Bag of chips, huh?
Yeah, it's like the hot thing, like everybody wants one, and it's crazy because if you remove yourself from that social obligation, and then you're like, wait, and this time, in this youth of mine, I could be more focused on myself. I'm not saying that, you should be like this Virgin Mary character or anything like that. But I'm just saying that you could use that time to better yourself or prepare yourself for your husband or your partner or whatever. You could like dress yourself up or like clean yourself up, learn some skills that you want to share with your special person. Basically, it's a lovely hack to not waste your time, especially if there are any younger audiences here that watch the alignment, or if you are at a particular age. I'm talking to kids that are younger. But yeah, so it would be really, really nice to spend that time with yourself, get to know yourself, and you would have a lovely partner after. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if this was the advice I would give to my younger self, that it's not a piece of cake. Just because everybody wants it, that doesn't mean that you need to have one too. You can just have your own cake,
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to know what is the right kind of, romantic relationships that, kids and younger teenagers.
Some people do also find their partners very, very young. There are exceptions, obviously, but they are rare.
Because if you tell them don't do this, they'll do this.
No, I'm not telling them to not do this. I'm showing them the benefit of being with yourself and how that could open up new perspectives. Because I like contradicting the common perspectives because I'm just a natural rebel. I like to go against the norm. So I just think that the norm is that, don't you have a boyfriend? Like, don't you have a relationship? Have you lost your, And I just think that it's okay to say no. It's okay to not have a boyfriend and still be a cool person. You're still very cool. If you don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, it's okay, It's kind of like sometimes kids are peer pressured into smoking or having a relationship at a very young age or losing something precious to them. You know what I'm talking about. So you can say no. I just want you to know that there is an option where you can say no and still be pretty cool.
Cool. Fair enough, yeah. I think that's a good place to sort of sign off there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hope everyone has found that interesting and insightful. Sorry, there was an insect on my arm. But we'll see everyone next time.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Adios.